From a good source. So this is friends of ours too at Mount Pleasant that grow their own beef. I tend to really only eat beef from their place, to be honest. I like to know where it comes from. Like the eggs.
Who is that? That's not Germany, is it? No.
Grange.
Whitehall Grange?
What's that?
Whitehall Grange, is it?
No. Pebble Grange. They're good friends of ours, and they grow. We actually shared they sort of got us going when we were selling our beef back at the market. We shared their stall. So it might be my mum and dad coming or someone. But anyway, yeah, this is so I know it's how it's fed, and I know it's been aged at least a week or 2 weeks. I think that's part of the key of digesting meat, is it having been aged. Most meat you get today is not aged at all. It's just killed and done and probably fed on grain. So again, when it comes down feeding an animal on grain or mainly on grass, I mean these are fed some through the winter as well when there's no grass. But you know, they're not in a feedlot being just hammered with grain. And again, it changes the fat profile as far as the way I understand it. So, let's go. So how many are we? We are 6, aren't we? So, this is where I do like to use the scale, it's just handy. So we got about a kilo there. 990, right? Divided by 6, what, 150? A bit over? So that's about what we had here. So it's not a big amount. Ooh, 147, that was alright. So what's that? We won, what, 150 something? 159? We'll give a little bit to that one. So what's 990 by 6? It's 150, isn't it? Some bigger, some smaller. Like that one. Give it a little bit to those. Done. So yeah, you just got to work this a little bit to get it nice. It sticks together, not too much. But see how there's no real water that ran out of these as well. That wasn't much in the. Like we actually get it in bulk, and then we got cryobaker at home. But even when you get it, you know, because it's been aged, it doesn't. But what sort of call wet meat, and moisture is either dehydrated a bit, but it also stays in. And you'll see when we cook these that, yeah, it's, I reckon you can only do what we're about to do with really good meat. So yeah, 150 grams is not a huge amount of protein, you know what I mean? And I can't remember the equation, but it's not like 150 grams of protein and 150 grams of meat. But it's yeah, certainly not. But that's pretty much what I have, but I also have my 2 eggs.
So we're really counting the eggs as our protein allowance.
Well, that's about 12 grams of protein, 6 grams each. And then you have another, I don't know what you say, it's very limited. But see how the bulk of that breakfast was fat and vegetables, right?
Yeah.
And I would double that kale yesterday. I mean, yesterday I had double or triple one. But it's all just fibre and fat.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really...
And the protein, 150 grams of that is not 150 grams of protein.
No, I don't know what the
no,
exactly...
it's a measurement, it's a lot less protein, so you can still have...
You know, one of the best, there's a food, you can get like this online food calculator, and you just go on and it'll work it out for you, just punch in so many grams, and it comes up with a breakdown. Actually, one of the best ones is on SA Health website.
Oh, okay.
Go on SA Health, called Food Calculator, I think. And yeah, okay, so do that. You can see how it's also fairly rough, fairly. But it's all about just starting with good stuff, you know. That breakfast was.
Could you pre-cook this and just reheat it then?
Yep.
For the next day? Because
I often do that. Like you can sort of do all this in the middle of the day while you're doing something else, and then just pull it out and then chuck it in and reheat it and done. And it's actually nicer when it's reheated.
Yeah, the flavour's
So this is that's not your MCT, is it?
no, but you could
I
use
bought it
if
because
you
I just
like,
put
'cause
yeah.
I
No, this
use
is
I know.
this is olive oil. I just filled up an empty bottle. We actually buy the olive oil in bulk, so it's like $7 a litre.
Yeah. Would you use Could you use MC2 oil?
I wouldn't.
Oh,
I wouldn't.
okay.
But it's too expensive anyway,
Oh,
and
right.
I'm just trying to get a very specific effect.
Okay.
I mean, MCT is expensive, so.
Yeah.
But you know what? My favourite with vegetables is actually butter. But olive oil and butter. If you like the coconut, good. But I tend to look number one: butter, salt, and pepper. Done.
Do you know what Torb's recommended? I've never done it, I must get my act together. He recommends you get half butter, half oil, then blend it, and it doesn't set, and you get the benefit of both the butter and the oil. So you can
Also,
always
the butter raises the burning temperature of oil too.
Yeah, there's something about
That's
using
a good
that
idea.
together. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
maybe
just
there is
too
a.
bad.
I actually learned that from a chef. You put olive
Yeah.
oil and butter into.
Yeah.
And he says the oil protects. Yeah, yeah. So maybe there's something to it. But just the taste wise, put butter on your vegetables. It's just it beats anything else. But especially when you could put chili and that stuff on here too. But you know what? When it already tastes good, just a little bit of salt and pepper, and done. All right. So I haven't even done it. Just chucked it on. We're just going to melt that butter, and then we'll. You can even dip in and have a little taste of that sauce if you like, but it'll be nicer with the meat. But dip your fork in and just going to use that in a second. Actually, I'm going to put that in.
You can use that one. Bit of this and
Oh, did you wash up that for me?
yeah.
I love having an assistant.
Yes.
It's like,
Oh, mate. We're going to start.
No, she should have to wash through.
okay, so I actually bought some ghee. I do like it flat, but yeah, I just try to use ghee whenever I'm frying. I suppose they're fairly expensive, but again, what is expensive compared to what, you know? Yeah, exactly. So, and it's not like you put ghee on everything else, you just use it for frying. So a jar like that, well,
Do you know, I went looking for ghee at Woolworths the other day and could not find it. They
Around the corner at the local Indian food shop, I walked down there and bought 2 pots, and it was beautiful ghee.
It's on
yeah,
the
they have it that
shelf.
green.
You don't
Yeah.
have to have it in the
Just around the corner from there.
Oh,
This is one from
but
the Govita Mount Barker,
and ghee doesn't
but just
have
get
to
it
be
on the
refrigerated,
20%
so
off days,
it's
then you
on
get
the
20%
ice.
off. So.
What's the store called?
At Govita in Mount Barker, we sell our beef bakes through there as well.
$6 for probably half
okay. I'll go
that.
around.
Do they set discount those? That's the most beautiful.
No, they have
Dark herb.
Oh yes, that's
the
the
first Tuesday. Like they have a set 2 days a month where they do 20% off or 10%. No, 20% the first. Anyways, yeah, 20% one day and 10% the other day.
I've got some that I made. Do you want me to give you some more ghee?
Oh, shit, that'd be great. Thank you. Actually, I'm good for now, Anna.
Well, there's some there.
Okay.
Because it's clarified butter, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what. That's
So, yeah, that just makes it a higher burn point. What's that sauce like? Is that alright?
We're going to try it, haven't we?
They tried just a tiny bit.
But see, you saw how we made it. It's like, but I do think still it's like it's the ingredients that really, and just don't stuff them up, you know. And it's the same here with the meat, you know. It's not the meat's fault.
Oh my god.
I see we could have put a bit of onion, a bit of garlic, a bit of ginger.
You could go turmeric.
Yep. But I tend to think we start with really good mushrooms that are really flavoursome and onion, and you don't want to have too complex,
No.
you know.
Oh, yum.
That's excellent, isn't it?
So,
I made that just by myself.
Mm.
I'm keeping your attention. You had a bit of breakfast, you had a tasty
Yeah.
lunch, and it's coming. Don't worry.
Yum. I might say.
Yeah, you're all around of that. You know, everybody, yeah.
But that's the thing. Look, I always think, look, and cooking should be a bit fun, you know, like enjoyable. Like it helps. If you're dreading, oh, I've got to go and cook and I'm going to be in there for an hour and I hate it.
Yeah.
Get to like it, but getting to like it is that, hey, I'm only going to be in there for half an hour and dinner's on the table.
Yeah.
And there's something about getting your food from the source that's enjoyable. Like, you talk to them about it, like, it somehow makes the food taste better.
Absolutely.
So,
That's a really good.
Parsley.
Yeah, me too.
and then once you sort of start obviously feeling better, the effects and all that, then you get more excited, it just sort of snowballs in a good way, you know.
So when you bring out your cookbook,
Hopefully soon.
So do you have these recipes on your?
No, but we'll have it all up on video and all this, yeah, so. But this is sort of my point too, it's like, it's a bit, yeah, you can do this exactly, but it's a bit like, look, start with the good vegetables, put in some butter, salt and pepper, put it in the oven, done. Whatever they are, doesn't really, I never look at a recipe myself. I have an allergy towards looking at recipes. I just think it takes the fun out of it, almost.
But then also we're using our
Like I did a Jamie Oliver recipe the other week. He had one with sardines and bacon.
Alright.
And I go, oh, can we make that? Oh, that looks good. We went to the market and got the stuff, and I get exhausted when there's more than two things in a recipe.
yeah.
And so I looked at it roughly, okay, it has roughly that. And we just got it, and then I didn't look at it again. I just, okay, so you put some herbs in, okay, But you know, part of the fun is sort of being a bit of an Einstein, a bit of
Yeah.
putting it, what you think, and then you come up with, and then you don't have to remember the recipe because you made it up.
Yeah. Yes.
So, and I made that, and you go, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, baby. But yeah, all it was, you know, it was fun. I enjoyed it, and now I know that the recipe, all I did was just, obviously, mine I was going to be high in fat, so I just melted butter. He had some herbs and stuff. He did all this sophisticated. I just went and got a bunch of herbs from the garden, melted that in the butter, fried the sardines in the butter, done.
Fantastic.
And then don't over fry it. Sardines actually really fresh, they're really nice when they're fresh.
Yeah.
And they're very sustainable and quite cheap. So, yeah, just season the meat a little bit. Just like to tap that seasoning in a bit.
So no eggs, no nothing. Just egg.
Nope, just, and again, it depends on the meat. And
You would, don't you?
I
so,
have got
So they're at the farmers market, the meat.
yeah, they're in Mount Pleasant.
Pleasant.
Yeah, they're in Mount Pleasant.
How often is that on? Is it every month?
No, that's on every week.
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday, yeah.
Great place to have breakfast too.
Is it?
Yeah, I have to adjust it. But
Okay, this is sometimes I do put on a timer when I do these. I don't want to overcook them. But I've got a safe way, a foolproof way of doing that.
if you want to live them out as a market, it's just around the corner.
Oh, is it?
So I can pick up stuff and for you too,
Right.
if you want me to. Thank you. And it's rather than doing the water and
Now I will admit this is a bit easier if you have like a bowl like that. You can just,
Well, yeah, I wish you
But
told
no,
me
that's
because
okay.
I've got loads of those. We could have cooked
it's
them.
fine. But it's also good to see you can just deal with whatever. But I'm just saying for tossing it.
Yeah.
And But yeah, so we just put in that butter, so I just want to sort of coat them. See how I didn't really coat them before on the fat? So you really just sort of want to coat them. And if you got that chili and stuff in there cooking in the fat, then you won't really get that on the vegetables until you sort of stir it around a bit. But again, I just want to really show you that the main thing with this is obviously to taste it, but also just to see how simple. And I keep going on about it, but I just want you to see how easy and simple it is when you start with good stuff anyway. I see that could, I mean, these vegetables, you could eat them now, you know, it's like, you take the head with that were raw,
Yep.
you can taste, you know, cook them as much as, you know, like they caramelise a bit if you cook them long enough. So, there's no sort of cooking police, you know, you just... Okay, so now that pan is there, it's nice and hot.
So I asked the butcher to put more fat in my meats. To add more fat and flavour.
So then I do start my clock, I got to think.
Nothing is
Anna, can you get me another scoop of the ghee? You know what? Thanks. Right in there anyway. Just a good scoop in the middle there. Yeah, that's probably good. Right, thank you. Have you got a splash cover or not? Are you not too worried? Just a... Okay. I do like to season the meat a bit. What's that?
That's just ghee in there?
Just ghee and then salt and pepper. So it's still pretty simple so far, hey?
Right.
Yeah. Just put them in. Put plenty of the fat. And fairly high heat. Actually, that's right up high, so it just depends on how hot your stove can get. But you just really, I'm just trying to seal them for a bit over a minute.
So, sorry, I wasn't paying attention, but did you put ghee in there?
Yeah. Just ghee, yeah. And then just season salt and pepper on both sides.
Get the veggies because you got that up quite
Yep,
high.
got 'em. And then that's about a minute and a half. So that's about the sort of the minimum you want to sear it. I just want to sear them a little bit. And then roughly the same the other side. It's a beautiful chopping board.
Tell your daughter's a chef.
I haven't half the stuff that she has.
Might just put those veggies down and then put the... So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the meat in the oven. And that's sort of the trick really to getting away with murder when you're cooking. So we just seared it. Oh,
Did you want to turn it down?
actually, I might turn it off. Which one was... Oh, no, the oven. I'll leave the oven on. But I'll just run this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's that there. You still want that up quite high?
Yeah. So you could have seared them a little bit more, but anyway, just start them on the pan is the basic notion. Yeah, maybe I should have cooked them a bit more, but that's okay.
Just for appearance sake.
It's also just to seal it off a little bit, and then we And I just pour that over the top. Keeps them a bit more moist. And here's the beauty of the spatula, and you can always get the fat. I even eat with one of these. If you're well, at least to finish off the meal, because if you're putting expensive MCT oil, you don't want half it sitting in your plate.
Yeah.
You know, so I make sure I get every little drop of fat. So see that's.
At home, I'm really
And just before you eat that dish, just make sure you don't grab it like I normally do.
I'm really careful with my You don't use bread anymore.
And then that goes back in the oven. I usually turn off the grill so they don't get a direct heat if the oven's like nice and hot now. And it'll be somewhere around the 5-6 minutes, depending on how ready you want it. But if you seal it and then you just cook that, it seems like you can get away, even if you cook it well done. I don't never cook a meat well done, but it'll stay moist. So, but I mean, I would eat that meat raw, you know, because I know where it comes from. And might even
I like a
little
nice
bit more.
steak tartare. Oh, come
That's
in.
probably my parents.
Yeah, just ask them to come in. Thanks, Monica.
So
So
we'll just
added more cream.
add a bit. Well, it was running a bit low for the main course, so.
And I had second portions. I didn't realise you were using it for that.
No, that's fine. That's what it's there for. Is it worse if nobody touched it? You'd go, ooh, that's a bit of a problem.
Hi. Hello.
So yeah, you can just top it up a little bit. What we'll do, because you guys taste it now, so we might add some cheese. And this is the only cheese I can find that hasn't got fillers in it. You know, normally you buy it, it's got like anti-caking agent,
Oh.
which is basically potato flour.
Oh, really?
But this is one, they have it in Coles, it's $4, stays at $4, and it just says it's got cheese in it. So.
You just buy a block,
You could, yep. Yep.
Oh, okay, yes.
So,
Great, yeah. That's
yeah,
right.
pump, and see, you could put this on your breakfast, right? Yeah.
So unless you're dairy intolerant, you highly recommend the use of dairy in this high fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason why not to.
Okay.
Basically. It's again, if we can stay away from everything, but
Yeah.
if it's not
Don't
doing
need
us any
to.
harm, if
Yeah.
it's doing us good, then why? You know?
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes if intolerances have come, it's not happening.
Yeah. I don't have it, but
I
I've just.
think it's irritating guts, actually. And the guts is so irritating by struggle. It's my daughter.
Okay,
She
so-
takes lactose, she's not intolerant. But when she has lactose for 5 years, she cannot eat any kind of dairy.
So that was the rest of that bunch of kale.
So that was
You
one
got a
garnish
bowl?
there.
Yeah.
So a big bowl? Do you want to
Yeah, so we'll just make a bit of salad.
Oh, you've got a salad bowl.
That's the thing, when you get nice kale like this, you can actually use it as salad. You know? Very hard to use the really woody stuff. It's just not. I mean, I've got to say, this is exceptional today.
It's a totally different colour.
Probably all the dairy I've been having too.
Now, as I said, normally I would cut out the stalks. I mean, Dad's usually the kale. He invented the kale salad. But yeah, because the stalks, if they're too woody, they're just plain annoying. I'm just got to keep an eye on that.
I'll put this jar back in here, Olive. Is it also?
Yeah, please. Thank you. Oh, better not put the wrong bean in. Sometimes it's nice just to have the salad really fine, but you don't have to. So just like that. Again, they did have a bit of dirt on them, so we might give them a bit of a wash. Not too much. Okay, so that's about 5 minutes for the meat, so we'll just check that. They're getting there, but they were sort of they were pretty raw when we put them in. So sometimes I flip them, I don't know if you have to. You got to think that now they're more baking than sort of getting direct heat from the pan, which is the advantage. You don't get that direct heat and it doesn't dry out. So you just got to take them out and see how they're cooking, depends on the oven. You know, some ovens just can get extremely hot and it'll just really... But what they will do, all of a sudden they'll just really cook and then they're just overdone pretty quick. Does anybody like their meat well done, or everybody happy with rare?
That's medium. I'll try
Medium.
rare, but I'll try it
Yeah.
more medium.
Alright, so we'll make it medium. So probably give them another 2-3 minutes and check them. And in the meantime, again, capsicum just nice vegetables. That often puts corn in, sweet corn. But if you're trying to stay really low carb for a while, I recommend staying away from that. But again, just think about it in general too. Look, if you want to have a bit of carrot, a bit of corn, if you have it raw and you have a little bit, it's okay. It's not gonna it's not gonna jump your blood sugar, you know, especially when you eat this real food. But if you're really trying to initially get going with this, I would just stick to all those above ground vegetables like on that list. And see, that's all we're doing really. See, all the stuff we cook with is just in that category.
So what are your thoughts on fruit then? How does that go?
Pretty much the only fruit to eat is berries,
Okay.
a little bit. They're the only ones that doesn't seem to jump your blood sugar too much. Again, if you have a little bit, but again, it's a bit, I should say, it depends where you're at. If you're starting out, we're going to talk a bit more about how we make this work when we go back. Just stay away from all the, you know, stick to this stuff. Forget about the fruit for now. But when you get your tolerance build up again, to where you can handle, you're not releasing a huge amount of insulin every time you eat carbohydrates, then you'll be okay. It's just that what's really happening is when you're getting so intolerant to insulin, like you're basically releasing a huge amount of insulin every time you touch carbohydrates. So it's a bit like an alcoholic. You know how to say they can never ever go back and eat alcohol because they have one sip and that whole cascade of things go on in their body. So it's the same here until you get it reset. Because right now, if you've been having a lot of carbohydrates, you release a huge amount of insulin, sort of chronic. And until you get that back down to where it just reacts normally, then yeah, don't do anything that triggers it. So that's why, yeah, I'm going to talk more about it when we talk about the fasting and ketosis. Cool. See, now that's the... So they're just about perfect, but we're going to give them just one more. So 1 minute. We'll have the salad. So yeah, the salad again, there's no rules. You can put in what you like. Bit of spring onion, sort of nicer than onion. But yeah, 2 or 3 things. I don't know, especially if it's good stuff. If it's as tasty as that kale, you can always just do that. You know. And I do find it's nice to have something fresh with all the fat. I do dress my salad, but you're still getting that raw and fresh, which is, it's a bit like, you know, when you add lime to something fatty. It cuts the fat, as I say. It's just nice on the palate. I think when you have anything raw vegetables with especially fatty meal, it's nice. As much as I like fat, it's like you sort of it's got to balance out too. So yeah, we could dress that, but I think I put a lot of olive oil and stuff on when I have that, but I mean, I'm a bit extreme, I have a lot of fat and everything. But it's quite nice, yeah, just with the fatty meal. So I think we'll do that. We got a chance to say it's done. We've got a bit of a mess here, so I'll just that. So there we go. Did we start an hour ago?
Cool. Yeah.
Roughly.
Just after 12:30.
Alright, so there we go. We'll just let them rest for a little bit. Just get organised, and then we might even get dish up, and then we'll go and continue, and I can just continue talking. So that'll be alright. I'll organise everything, and we'll just rest then. So as you can see, that was like pretty much a 3-course meal while you're talking, but it's just started with good stuff. That's sort of my point too, is that don't complicate the process and start with good stuff. And if you want to whack some sardines or oysters onto you know.
Looks like a feast actually that you've got there.
You know, I really have them. I mean, the amount of times I just have eggs and vegetables and salad for dinner, I love it. It's just like, okay, cut up some kale and have the same for dinner. It just almost doesn't. Food doesn't matter as long as it's good. And you guys aren't satisfied with that. I've got a bit more food for you, so we got dessert too. Don't worry. So. Okay, so can I put that straight up there? Anna?
Yes. Okay. There's other boards there though. If you just just make it up.
Just did one. But I thought it was marble, but I
Okay. Yeah.
So as you saw, we so we actually thinned up the sauce a little bit, obviously, but I put some parmesan in. So, but that'll just show you again how easy it falls. You need to spice up the sauce a bit, or you didn't. Now we just stretched it a bit. So do that. Vegetables. But as you can see, it doesn't take a huge IQ, obviously, to.
It doesn't take a lot of different.
No, and it's like how many of the. I mean, that's meat, salt, and pepper. That's mushroom and onion and cream. That's vegetables and butter. And you have one fat, cream. I mean, it's very basic. Yeah, so please. How many of us? Yeah, grab a burger each.
Yeah, pop that one again there.
There, will you have one? Yeah, that's fine. They're gonna have share mine. Far more will you have, please? No, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine.
I'm happy with half. I won't need more than half.
Oh, look how they're cooked.
Perfect.
See, that's when you get that good meat that holds in the moisture, it'll just almost, and you cook it gently, it'll just really sort of cook and not dry out. So, yeah.
Delicious. Wow.
We could have had bigger plates. You said we were only going to have samples. Will I get bigger plates?
Well, this is a sample in my book.